Falcons now sitting at 2-2, and you have had a front row seat to watch Michael Penix Jr.'s development. What do you make of his start in year two?
He's playing great. Had an awesome game yesterday. Did a really good job, specifically on third down and critical moments, making plays with his arm, with his legs. Made great decisions with the football. Especially considering how young of a player he is still in this league. I think he's really playing beyond his years. And like you said, I've got a front row seat to be able to watch and encourage and just kind of support the best I can.
That being said, you also take a lot of pride in your job. This is different for you. How have you sort of managed this role in this situation for you and what's being asked of you in this team environment?
Yeah, it's bringing back memories of when I was in Washington and supporting Griff my first few years there, and even going back to college when I was backing up Brian Hoyer. So I think it's important to just you still study, you still prepare, you still get all you can throughout the week to be ready to go if need be, but you also understand all that's on the guy starting and how you just want to be a great support to him and be an asset to him and to the team. And I think it's an important role as a backup to be able to not only be ready to contribute as on the field, but to be a contributor, on the sidelines as well.
Hey, you bring up some of your time in college and early in the NFL. Feels like since then, so much has changed in the game of football, specifically at the quarterback position. We've seen a lot of quarterbacks at the college level struggle so far this year. We've seen kind of that translation from the college level to the NFL not always be the most seamless transition. What do you make of the way that the quarterback position is being developed in today's college football?
Yeah, I think football and the way it's structured and what you're asking of the quarterback, it always will evolve. I think that's just a part of this great game. But it's kind of a smattering. You get quarterbacks who make a great adjustment from college to the pros and develop really well. Others who takes a little longer, but eventually they do become great players, even if it looked rocky at first. And then you have guys who just never really quite find the difference they got to make to be able to have their game translate from college to the pros. So it's all of the above, and I think that because football is such a team game, many times it is the environment around them. When you go to a place that's really well coached, they've drafted well, they've got a support system around you. It makes a mean difference in being able to play well. And then other times, you don't have that support system and it's difficult. And so we all are dependent on the people around us. And I think you see it so much in football, just how it's such a team sport.
There's also an element, though. I mean, Kirk, you're a music guy, right? So you'll appreciate this. U2, and Bono said this years ago. Bono said it took U2 three records to figure out who they were as a band. And that in the modern climate, they wouldn't have even gotten three singles. I think about that because right now we're a month into the NFL season, and all I see everywhere are hot takes on rookie development within weeks. Like we are just poised to react to whatever Jackson Dart does, for example, like it's world beating or it's the end of the world, depending on the outcome. How can quarterbacks in the NFL develop when there's just no patience for anything anymore?
Well, if the patience is on the outside, or the impatience, I should say, is on the outside, then that's one thing. I think it's important that the organization stay committed to the longer term plan and to the process and to have the patience that's needed to develop. I know certainly in my own personal story, I more or less sat for 2.5, 3 years before I really had a chance to be the guy for an entire season. And even in those 2.5, 3 years when I did play, it was some good, some bad. And so if you had, kind of made a decision off those first couple of years, my career never would have gotten to go the direction that it went. And so I think that, patience is an important part of it all, but every organization has to do what they feel is best. And sometimes that requires being impatient and saying, oh, we're going to go out there and we're going to learn under fire. And the best experience is to just be out there, good or bad. And so there's an argument to be made for that decision too. But I certainly think that when you evaluate, you have to factor in, well, wait a minute, how long have they been in the system? How experienced are they? Who's around them? Do they have the support system they need? And if not, what you want it to be, then there needs to be some grace given. And again, each organization kind of has their own way of processing that.
You have been known throughout the entirety of your career for perseverance, for mental toughness. How has this year or this stint in Atlanta kind of challenged that mental toughness?
Yeah, football is a game that's going to test you, and that goes back to even playing, as a kid before even high school football. You realize that this sport's a little different than the other ones, and so all my journey, like you said, has been, curveballs or challenges or things I didn't expect, and certainly, the process of coming to Atlanta and now being the backup here in 2025 was, a bit of a curveball, but that's the way life goes, and you just handle it the best you can and take the next step. And right now it's being a great support to Mike, to our offense, to our team, and preparing as best I can, but also providing support as best I can. And that's the role I'm in, and that's the role I'm gonna embrace. And so that's where we are right now.
On social media about a week ago, you posted a picture of you and your wife standing inside US Bank Stadium. The caption was lots of memories, and that's obviously from your time with the Vikings. I know it's hard to pick one, but is there one Vikings memory that really stands out as your favorite that you think of?
What a great question. Like you said, there are a lot of them. I think in that stadium specifically, the one that first came to mind would be the largest comeback in NFL history when we were down to the Colts 33-0 at halftime. And I was just hoping that we could, find something in the second half that we could take with us into the next week as, to feel good about. And next thing you know, I look up and it's a 2-score game and then a 1-score game. And then we tied the game and go to overtime and kick a field goal to win in overtime. So, that was a special one and one that'll stick with me for as long as I live.
What's the most important thing for you right now in your career?
Well, I think, you got to focus on what's my role and doing my job right now. And so in the stage I'm in, it's being a great backup, understanding you are one play away, you've got to stay ready. If something were to happen and you go in, you've got to be able to play at a level that keeps our team going in the right direction. But at the same time, if you're not called upon, you need to be a great support, be a great encourager, provide input when you can to teammates, to coaches, things you see. And I don't take that role lightly, whether it's speaking to the quarterback room, whether it's saying something to a receiver, a tight end, encouraging or coaching, whatever you may be able to offer. All of it's valuable. And so you try to do the best you can in that role. And I think that's the job I have to do.
All right, so again, knowing you're a music guy, we were excited to talk to you about Bad Bunny. He's the halftime show. Okay, but last year with the Falcons,
Yes.
on your birthday, you got control of the practice playlist. They posted it online. So we got a lot on there, a lot of stuff on there that we like. You and I are somewhat similar in age. I'm a little older than you, but there's a lot on here, Kirk, that I resonate with. Who's the Kirk Cousins dream Super Bowl halftime performer?
What a great question. I've never been asked that. My first ballot choice would be Switchfoot. They're my all-time favorite band. I love them so much. I had them come to my house for a private concert a few summers ago, which was a blast. So, and that started a tradition now where I get a band of my own choosing to come to my house each summer for a private concert. So, we've done that for a few years and highly recommend it if you can get your favorite bands to come to your house for a concert. I highly endorse that.
Kirk,
Could
yeah,
we get
Switchfoot
the invite
probably
to
my
your
first
house
choice.
for the concerts? I don't know if they're coming to my
If
house.
you like my kind of music, you're always welcome. You're always welcome if you can tolerate my kind of music. Some of my teammates probably wouldn't even take me up on the offer because they wouldn't like it. But if you're into it, you're always welcome.
Yeah, I as somebody that was
Awesome.
lucky enough to tour the world in a band, it's not cheap to get your favorite band to come to somebody's house for a concert. I love that, Kirk. I love that. All right, so you guys can check it out. Obviously, big10.org/Abbott is how you submit the proof of your donation. big10.org/Abbott. Kirk, you came on the show, so I'm going to go give. I'll give some blood. I'll put it out there. We'll put it on social. We'll show everybody, and I'll do it for Michigan State. Let's go. So I'm all in
There
on
we
this.
go.
We appreciate your time. We're getting them up. Number 7 is not good enough, Kirk. We got to get you
I
to number
know.
1, dude. We can do this.
We can do it. Spartans are known for their grit, their resilience. We got to find a way to climb the rankings here in the We Give Blood drive. And I want us on December 6th at the Big Ten championship game, not only playing on the field, but also having them announce that we as a school, as an alumni base, gave the most blood. So we'll see where it all shakes out. But thanks for having me on with a chance to kind of promote this program for the Big Ten and Abbott, and looking forward to following it all season.